Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to That's a Take. I'm your host, Bruce James Bales, and we have reached episode 13. Lucky number 13. Lots of numbers in this episode because we are talking to Brittany Benedict, the director of the feature film 5683. I think it's safe to say that a lot of us are in this industry because of the feature film. Sure, we end up working on shorts, commercials, episodes, and miniseries, but the holy grail, so to speak, is the feature film. It's what so many of us strive to do. It's what people flock to the theaters for. It's what the industry was built on and what inspired so many of us to start making films. Personally, I have so much respect for people that just do the thing. Brittany and her team did just that. They wrote, shot, and completed their film, screened at numerous festivals, won awards, and it is now streaming on platforms like Tubi and Amazon Prime for you to watch. Before we get started, a little bit more on Brittany in her own words. Brittany Benedict is an Iowa-born and raised filmmaker who began pursuing her lifelong dream of making movies in 2018 when she and her creative and life partner, Michael Huntington, simultaneously started a wedding videography company, as well as began their narrative filmmaking endeavors under Century Films. Since, Benedict has directed countless shorts, including her annual Christmas and 48-hour films. In 2024, Benedict directed her first feature, 5683. You can find Brittany primarily on set as a director or assistant director with the hopes of continuing to grow in all aspects of filmmaking, including cinematography and editing. And now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Brittany Benedict.
5683, we filmed it 2 years ago and then premiered it over a year ago. And so it has been really interesting for it to come back into our lives in such a strong way. Mm-hmm. And it's been really fun getting to kind of reminisce and be like, this was a really awesome thing we did, and now people get to see it. Filmmaking really is like the experience and the actual film you made. So it's cool to show hey, this is what we made, when we've talked about the experience so much. But I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, like I was saying, I rewatched it today, and I was texting Chase and giving Chase Stein a hard time about Rusty.
Yes.
And the first time I watched it, I was just like, it comes out of nowhere. I love that scene, and it's just a fun movie.
Thank you.
And I think even talking to Kevin before I'd seen it, I knew it was going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And I think it is a kind of a film that you kind of wish more films like this were made.
Right.
And I think we can get really serious, and filmmaking is an art form where we should discuss serious things, but also there's a lack of comedy these days.
Yes, especially in independent filmmaking. And I weirdly have had this guilt or I'm not living up to the expectations of independent filmmaking by pursuing or having done something like this. Mm-hmm. But in the end, so proud, because I feel very confident going up to people you are going to have fun watching this. You will. It is a fun movie. And I do feel it's kind of, it goes beyond the audience of filmmakers or, people who are in it for the art form, which, we were, we're in it for the art form. Mm-hmm. We took it very seriously as if it were, a very serious drama or something. But it is cool to kind of make something for the everyman and have people enjoy it.
Well, it's more accessible.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
And sometimes, I don't know, I've been so guilty of this, even movies I've written, why did I write such a serious movie?
Yes.
Because I think my favorite films blend drama and comedy.
Yes.
Even if it's very serious, there's the comedic relief, and sometimes, I don't know, I think we get a little too serious and forget about that.
Yes.
Because it's human nature to kind of crack jokes when bad things happen too.
Exactly. And there's there's some crazy stuff happening in this film, in this story. Especially midway through, kind of the friendship gets really rocked in a big way. Mm-hmm. And it's that's a very big, serious moment in the landscape of such fun and shenanigans. And so you can do both and kind of balance those things.
Yeah, and I thought you guys did a wonderful job of doing that.
Thank you.
It felt real, because sometimes comedy can approach a level of we're a little far from reality Not that that's a bad thing. That's a specific type of comedy, but this felt grounded in like friendships and human relationships. And then I think there was also some like nice nods to old comedies. I think of one scene in particular really makes me think about the film. I think it was called "There's Something About Mary." You know what scene I'm talking about, probably, yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't know. It was nice. It was almost nostalgic in a really great way. That I don't know.
Yes, well, thank you for saying that, and I think that is kind of one of the things we wanted to go for, as well as kind of remind us of rom-coms of the past that we know and love. So
Yeah, and I think we're all of the generations that those kind of films really made an impact on us, I think.
yes, which is another thing of even going for making the comedy. It's like, yeah, some of my favorite movies are comedies, so it's like something that I know inherently just from growing up watching things. So, kind of drawing on that love for comedies in my childhood, it really helped and made the experience more enjoyable as well. So.
Yeah. So this was your first feature as a director.
Yes.
How did this sort of come about? What was the genesis of you being involved in 5683?
Yes. So Michael and I have been, Michael, my partner in life and all things, also a creative partner, filmmaker partner, business partner. We've been making films since 2018. Really, we both just love filmmaking and the idea of getting into it. And I think one thing, I don't know, kind of special about us is that one person wasn't in it before the other. We really did like come up together and learn together, which has only like strengthened our bond and kind of our partnership as well. And so just since then, we've been building like the craft or building our skills and learning, and that's all been through short films, mostly because of like budget, but also just I think the idea of tackling a feature film very intimidating. Also, through the years, being aware that we don't know enough people yet, or have enough people to bring on to something like that, or even have a story that we want to tell in a feature film length. So just kind of working on those short films and getting them done and putting them out. And I'd say that's one of the values or like good things about Michael is he's really good about like getting us going. I always say like he's the starter and I'm like the finisher. Like he has an idea and I'm like, okay, I can make it happen for us. And then he's good at, okay, but we're getting this done and we're moving on. And I think that's maybe one of our strengths as a partnership is that we just keep making the films and getting them done and moving on. We don't like to sit on things. Yeah. It's very easy to do that. But I think when you do that, you don't grow, It's to look back at films and to be able to be like, oh, I wish I did that, is so important because then you know what you want to do better next time. So we do these short films forever and ever and ever. And along the way, we meet Kevin Shepard. And this is kind of in our journey where I'm like, I just don't know if I'm that passionate about writing, because that's kind of how it was, is like I would write and direct, Michael would shoot and edit. Yeah. I was like, I'm just not that passionate about writing. And, you need to start bringing people on so that you can focus on like one avenue. And so, yeah, we meet Kevin. I think I love to say this because he actually introduced himself to us like in 2019. And I think I ghosted him. I ghosted him on Facebook. I was like, I don't know who this random person is. But he was just trying to connect with other filmmakers. And then, it's like 3 years later and he reaches out again. And we're like, yeah, we'd love to meet with you. So it's all about timing, honestly.
Of course, yeah. And honestly, I don't think anybody really takes that stuff personally, because sometimes you're just busy and you miss the message,
Yes. Kevin's family now, so he understands.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But he like came by our office at the time, and he was someone who's like, you want scripts? I got an archive. So he kind of came like ready-made with all these scripts that he put a lot of like time and effort into. And that's kind of where we got into working with him, we made a short film with him called Shut the Box, which we crowdfunded for. That would have been our first, I think it was our first like crowdfunder, kind of dipping into that arena and seeing how we could get a budget that way. And we kind of, I guess you could say, like, found success, or like found that we could work together. Like, we could get a budget, we could make a movie together. Like, the collaboration worked really well between the three of us. So he continued like on with us. We did a couple different things, and then I don't know what we finished, but it was, I think we just wrapped like our Christmas film. We do one every year. It was the end of 2023, and it was kind of like, okay, we've done like 3 Christmas films. We've done a ton of short films. Like,
what's next?
Yeah, we're like, hey, we think we're ready. Like, we think we're ready for a feature film. So it was kind of like us coming to Kevin, what do you got?
Yeah.
What do you got for us? So 5683 wasn't written because we wanted a feature film to make. He had it in the archive. Like, he had written it, years and years ago. And I think he kind of thought of a few things that, would work for me as the director, like knowing that I would be directing it. And he pulled out 5683 and was like, okay, what do you think? And then I'm reading it and I'm getting through it and I'm like, Kevin, I'm laughing. I think this will be really fun. So, that's kind of how it came about, is like just kind of us as a team. We felt ready to make the feature film, and thankfully he kind of had one on deck for us to shape and mold and move forward with.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's been really inspiring and motivating. I said this on the Mediaverse podcast, like, to watch your group thrive and grow and like continue on this path that I feel like in a lot of ways, like, our crew's paths are mirrored, in the respect that, like, that's kind of how Marissa and I talked about things. And, it was like shorts, learn how to tell a story, and then, okay, we're ready for the feature. And I don't know, it's been really motivating for me to see 5683, to see Jury of her peers, all these features that are being done in Iowa by different crews, and it's like, it's just really inspiring. But I want to talk about pre-production for you with this film, like because everyone's process is a little different, and obviously, like, low budget stuff, you don't have as much time to do pre-production. But what did that look like for you? Talk about that process.
Yeah, I think this film was wild. Like I said, at the end of 2023, we decided we are going to make a feature film. Cut to April of 2024, the feature film's wrapped. So it was like the turnaround time was crazy.
Okay. So you guys decided and shot the film within 4 months?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And it was wild. And I kind of have been reflecting leading up to this podcast, like, why did we do that? That's actually insane. And I think, but also wouldn't take it back because of that, that's the film we have.
Yeah.
And, but why did we do that? I was thinking about it, and it was kind of a now or never thing, looking out at the year and like what was on the docket. It was like, actually, if we don't get this thing going now, we're not doing it this year.
Yeah, once May comes, it starts to get too busy. I mean, really, we're seeing it right now. Like, March, we're recording in March. It's like the second week of March, and things are starting to thaw out a little bit, but we're still not that busy. And it is the time for the passion projects, for sure. The first quarter of the year, I guess, is...
Yes.
Wait, I'm not good at math. You get what I'm saying, the first 4 months.
Yeah. And I do think we kind of work well in those scenarios. That wouldn't be the first time that we decided to do something and then, like, really quick turn around and make it. Yeah. So, I guess the proof was in our pudding that we could do that. It was a lot to take on, but because of the deadlines and the pressure and all of that, it literally pushed us through to make the film and get it done. So pre-production on this one was pretty intense, and not even like pre-production for the film. It was also like getting the budget together as well. We ran a crowdfunder through Seed and Spark, which actually overlapped some of our filming. Like our crowdfunder didn't end. Our crowdfunder like ended in the middle of March, and we did our first day of filming like at the beginning of March. And it really was like, if we did not get the crowdfunder, we were not making the film. And so that first weekend, we kind of decided, what can we film that we can take a loss on? Like if, you know, we go through and pay people or pay for crafty or pay for the location, like what are we cool with losing? Because if we don't get the money, this is not happening. Because we had like 15 more days on our schedule. But thankfully, the community came together and we got our budget. But so juggling all of that, juggling the crowdfunder with actually pre-pro, it was wild. But I think a big part of what made it succeed is kind of the production team we had. And by that, I mean me, Kevin, and Michael. Like, we're the three kind of like producers of this film. And so each of us taking on, throughout the process of making the whole film, we've each kind of like taken on different responsibilities that have really gotten us through. So like, as far as getting the crowdfunder going, that was really like a Michael and Kevin thing, while I could really focus on like planning the days. I always say that like my skill set is ADing, so like I'd like to say I'm really good at like planning a film. So you know, I kind of like focused on that while they made the fun content and got people to donate, but we're all sharing and you know, we're also casting during all of this.
And that was going to be my next question is like, I know there's another part that you were doing during this.
Oh, it's so wild. But it really is, I think, the key to what made that succeed is there were three of us, and we each kind of had different strengths in the process. And, you know, you've talked a lot about this on your podcast in general, is trusting the team. Like, I'm a huge person who needs to be in control of things. And I'm way more detail oriented than like Kevin and Michael, but like letting them take over things and trusting in them and getting those different like elements or realms of the process done, that was a huge part to why we succeeded through pre-production and ultimately into filming.
Yeah, that's really important. And I think especially in that pre-production process, you like have your to-do list and it feels completely overwhelming at first. But then if you're like, I only have to worry about a third of this.
Yes.
You're like, okay. And I think it's interesting to me that like, so you did all the AD work as well on top of directing?
Yes.
Okay.
And Kevin's listed as our assistant director, and he did a fantastic job. It's just not something he had done before, and it's something that I had. And again, I like to say like my skill set is assistant directing. My passion is directing, right? But and so that's not something I really wanted to give up on this. This is kind of like, hey, this is go time, people. We're not going to have people who are inexperienced in roles where we really need to depend on them. And so we didn't go like hire out an AD just because budget.
Of course.
So like Kevin did a fantastic job in the assistant director role. But as far as like, you know, the pre-production duties and like sending out the call sheets, that is something like I didn't want to give up just because like I felt very confident in getting that stuff done for a feature film. It was important that I didn't let that responsibility go on this one. I mean, moving forward, like AD all the way, we're finding room in the budget for those.
Yeah.
But on this one, that was something I kind of took on is at least like in the planning part of it. The on-set duties of an AD, Kevin, like phenomenal job. He's really good at taking care of people in general. So we could really rely on him for that.
Yeah, and I relate to that. I've done a lot of AD work on the films I make too. And luckily I know Marissa, and she's a much better first AD than I am. So, but I've like legitimately first AD'd a lot of films uncredited, you know?
Yes.
Because ultimately, and I'm sure Michael probably understands this too, sometimes the DP is very clued in on the schedule, like, oh yeah, we need to be here at this time. So I've learned a lot about scheduling, and I think it's honestly good for everybody to kind of know a little bit about that, because if you want to make your own project, then you can like be ahead of the game as far as that goes. So, and it's also like a money saver, like, you know, for your first feature, like you're not probably going to have the full crew. And it's just like,
no, absolutely not.
Yeah. So talk about casting. How'd you guys go about casting? Was it like very much like, oh, we know that we want this person in this role, or was because I can't remember if I saw casting calls or not for this.
We actually did cast. So when it came to crew, it was like, we're not bringing new people on. We are going to our tried and trues.
Yep.
We need our A team to come and be with us. Like, we are depending on these people, and we need to have the people that we know we can depend on. For cast, though, it was like, I wanted it to be like that, but for your film to like succeed, it needs to be the opposite. You need to go like beyond your people and find the people who are right for the role. Ultimately, that's what we needed, is people who are right for the role. So of course we had a lot of conversations like, oh, we can use this person, or we worked with these people and they're talented. But ultimately we decided this is a huge investment. It is going to be very important for us to find the people who are right for the role. So we did do a casting call just on Iowa Film, and then like the other actor groups like on Facebook.
So talk about the lead. Talk about Caitlin.
Yes.
Did you know Caitlin?
Yes.
Ahead of time?
So Caitlin is one of those people that we were like, we want her to audition. It wasn't like, we're going to offer her this role or anything like that, because I wasn't even sure. You know, there's 4 female leads of this, so there's a lot of options. They're very different personalities. I wasn't even sure like where I thought Caitlin would fit, but I love Caitlin as a collaborator. Like, I would choose her every time just for like the experience of working with her. But acting is so much more than that. It's, you know, like, are they fitting the character, and like, what are they bringing to the story and the character, not just the experience on set. And so we asked her to audition, and like, audition for the girl you want, or the girl you connect with the most. And she actually ended up auditioning for 2 of the different characters, and ultimately we thought she did great for the lead. And as far as the other girls go, these are all new people to us. Hadn't heard of them, and hadn't met them before or worked with them. And honestly, 2 of our choices I wouldn't have thought was a possibility. Rachel Williamson and Carly Eliza are both out of Nebraska, and I haven't really touched much on this, but we really didn't have a budget for like paying people. So like, for me, who, you know, I'm not just the director, I'm the producer, so I have to think about how the budget is being spent. I'm like, yeah, we can't. This girl is perfect for this role, people. But how are we getting the girl from Nebraska? Like, we have to put her up. And so unfortunately, I feel like casting is kind of considering those, well, at least at this level, when you're in charge of the budget as well, considering those factors too. But gosh darn, they were perfect. They were the roles. Like, Sophia was perfect for Lizzie. Like, she was like the one we saw first, where we're like, we're gonna find the people, because I don't even remember her name. She's Lizzie. That's all I know, is like, that's Lizzie. And kind of when we saw Sophia's audition, we're like, we made the right choice. Like, all this work of like pushing out the casting call and like putting together the sides and making people read and going through all the auditions. It's like, it's working. And then we saw Rachel's audition, which she auditioned for 2 of the different roles too. I think Sophia also auditioned for like Vanessa. But basically the people that ultimately got casted, it's because we saw the characters in them through the audition. So very, very grateful to have done that. And I think it was super vital in kind of the end product of this film, like one of the biggest compliments that we get is on the casting.
Yeah. The four of them are great together and separate individually.
Yes.
I'm really glad that you had the opportunity to go through that process that way, because, you know, you wouldn't think that as a DP that I've had that chance, but like Marissa's always given me a producer role where I can always watch tapes, and you learn so much, and it's so cool to see people, their take on the characters. And it's probably really interesting from your point of view to see like multiple actors for the same role, because then you can contrast their performances. And we've never really had people try out for like multiple roles on our films, but I would, that's really cool. And I would love to see like just the tapes too. Like, Rachel's wonderful. I've worked with Rachel Williamson out of Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes.
Nebraska, probably either Omaha or Lincoln. I think it's Omaha.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. And then Sophia Kilberg, where's she out of?
She's out of Davenport.
Okay, great.
And she's big. Like, she's big in the theater scene over there, and like she travels around to different theaters and performs.
Nice.
Yeah, fantastic.
And then Carly Eliza is from Nebraska as well.
Yes, she's out of Nebraska as well, but she's actually in LA now.
Oh, good for her. Yeah, she was great too. I mean, her character was interesting, and like some of the decisions that, you know, story-wise really kind of propelled it in the second half, but kind of didn't expect that stuff to happen. Don't want no spoilers, but yeah, I can't say enough good things about Rachel, and just from my own perspective, but the film, I thought all four of them had really great chemistry together. I think Caitlin has this ability to like really let those awkward beats play really well. I mean, one shot that that sticks out in my head is when she has her face mask on and she gets locked out of an apartment, and you sort of put the camera right where the door is. I love that shot. And just like the way her physicality in that moment, and just like the shame.
Yes.
She did a really wonderful job of like humanizing this character, because it could easily be like a character that you sort of just laugh at and are like, oh yeah, she's never gonna succeed in her endeavors, or, you know, she's kind of just this awkward person. But there's a depth to it that I think is really there, that makes you want good for her, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Caitlin. Yeah, she's. I can't like say enough good things about her, and especially, you know, mentioning that, yeah, she is in a face mask, and the beginning of the film kind of puts her in a vulnerable joke. Yeah, she handles those things like a pro, like, and with such, bring it on. Yeah, what do you want me to do? How do you want me, what's your vision, Brittany? Like, I'm game. I'm not embarrassed.
Good.
I no pushback from her. And if there was any pushback, I would 100% listen to her, because she never has any otherwise. And so I would take it seriously. And Caitlin's a pro. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, it was evident that she wasn't afraid of those scenes. And some of them are hard. I mean, really, like, you're kind of being laughed at, you know, and it's like, I don't think anyone really likes being the court jester necessarily. It's kind of hard to do, and to do it and to be grounded in a performance, as opposed to like letting it go off into the atmosphere that is ridiculousness. Because it could have easily done that, you know, in several moments, and it didn't ever feel, to me watching it, I was never like, this is ridiculous. In a way that's like, oh, over the top, you know. It was always grounded in like humanity.
Yes. Well, and I think that's a testament to why it is important to cast, is, you know, because we got to cast professionals, you know, like not just people we knew. And it's like these actors are taking it seriously. And it's kind of like a whole, like, I don't have to worry about that part, about like maybe easing someone into acting or anything like that. It's like they're coming prepared. They studied the script. They know the character the best at this point. We're having conversations about the character. It's like, that is why we casted. And I'm so grateful that they came out, especially on a movie like at this budget level, because we really haven't touched much on it, but they kind of just came out for travel.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're very well versed in this space of being where you're like, we want to make this. We have no money. And I think it comes down to just communication. And as long as you set expectations for what people are going to get themselves into, most people here want to do it, regardless of if it's a day rate that they're used to or not, which is great. And why I think that's a testament of probably one reason why I started this podcast, even because I feel like we have something here that is worth sharing. The Weekend Warrior films that we all do, people are really like weirded out by that when they find out we do that. Like, I'm serious. People are like, wait, what? Like, for instance, and I'll try not to get too sidetracked. My mom, hey mom, I was talking to her about Cedar Rapids, and she found out that like we had 4 films in it, and she was like really excited, and she didn't know that I wasn't paid for any of those.
Oh, sure.
She was like shocked.
Yeah.
She was like, wait, what, you don't make money on those? I'm like, no, we just make them.
Yes. And
I don't think most people realize that like 90% of the time when we're doing these films, and obviously we're all trying to change it. There's some great stewards for the arts in Iowa that are like giving people money just to go make shorts and stuff.
Yes.
But it's like most people are pretty like, what?
Yes. I always say like, oh, I don't make money. I spend money.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's true. And it's like, I don't know, it gets to the point where we're surrounded by people, I think, you know, and someone like Rachel strikes me as this, like she'd rather work and have the experience than not have the experience, even if it's not her day rate. Because she, you know, I think she's a lot like us where she goes and does commercials to make money, but where her heart is and where her soul is, and I'm speaking a lot for her, but is a narrative, and that's how I feel, you know, like I go work I can come make these films.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and that's really cool. And so when you guys got to production, you as a director, as a first-time director, did you have a ritual or anything in the morning? How did you prepare for each day? Like, you know, did you read through the sides every morning? Like, how did you mentally prepare to be your best every day?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was like a daily morning ritual, especially, you know, under the circumstances that we were making the film, with everything kind of being, I don't want to say rushed, because I feel like rushed implies, you know, that we weren't like ready or something, or it was coming together like disorganized. And so I don't want to imply that, but because it was a fast-tracked process.
Yeah, time is money, and you had little of both.
Yes. There was no time to I guess like think about anything else but what we were going to do for the day. Like I never like grounded myself. It's just very important for me to know what's going on, right? Which I'm the director. I'm one of 3 producers. But I think I had kind of built this reputation, at least among Mediaverse, which are the crew who came and crewed for us and really got this thing made with us, that like Brittany knows what's going on. And it's like, if just look to Brittany, she's got it. So it's like, I kind of feel that pressure. But also, I also believe in myself that, yes. So I think that's kind of the benefit of doing the AD work, is that like a schedule wasn't being made without my knowledge. I made the schedule. So I think just a lot of, getting on board with what the daily schedule was, really knowing the script, and that's obviously so important, but I did not write the script. So really getting familiar with it, was very important, because like there's nothing worse than being like, can you go back to that line, and then like you don't even know what the line you need to go back to is because like you didn't memorize the script. But I do think it's kind of important for a director to at least have, you know, some sort of memorization of the script. It's gonna just help with your flow. But no daily rituals. I just think being very aware of like every single part of the process. Like I just wanted to make sure I was the person who knew the most. I didn't want like, the AD to know more than me, or Michael to know what's going on more than I did. I just I think just familiarizing myself with what was going on, and a huge part of that, what was the pre-production I did. I'm very my scene breakdowns that I do are very detailed, and I find that to be very important. That I prep myself with all of these like pre-production documents. That is like, I'm like ordering the shots in order of like what makes sense, of like flipping the room, kind of like placing that stuff in order, and like making notes of like, okay, after this shot, reset the water, stuff like that. And it's like all on one document, and it's even kind of has like the timestamps we need to do it by. A lot of this is AD stuff, which so grateful to bring that with me into my first feature film, which I think attributes to a lot of like the success of just getting through the production. But I always say like, it can get really chaotic on set. And I always like revert back to my notes, because Brittany, who sat in the room 2 days ago in the quiet, serene, like no one's bothering her, she knew what was going on. So like just refer to the notes, Brittany now on set, where all these people are like coming at you, and you're like, wait, maybe we can do this shot first. But I'm like, no, Brittany 2 days ago really thought this should be the order. So I think there's a reason she did that. And I don't question that, Brittany, because she knows what she's doing. And so I think that's a big part of the process, is all of the pre-production work that's going on. And, I will say, like, after 5683, I kind of let up a little bit. I'm like, no, I got this. And like, then you're like, no, shoot, that's why I do all that work. So sometimes I can get a little like overconfident. But it's always important. I always go back to like, do the pre-production work, because it's going to save you on set.
That was a great answer. And I know sometimes when it comes to discussing films, it's like, oh, I'm answering this and I'm not answering it. Like, it's a non-answer. That's such a great answer for people to hear. Like you talked about reading the script, knowing the material, familiarizing with yourself with the world, doing the pre-production. But what I really liked what you said is this idea of, I never want someone to know more than me. And that is such a noble like school of thought as a director, because when you get to that high level, you're going to have all these departments, hopefully through your AD. Hopefully you have that person that like, you know, is like, Brittany, what do you think of this color? Brittany, what do you think about this set? Brittany, what time is it lunch? And like knowing when you can be like, ask that person, yes, blue, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, as a DP who is a very close collaborator with the director, obviously, I respect directors. I would rather them have a quick answer and be wrong than to not have an answer. Like, I'm cool if they change their mind. But if someone comes up to them and they, what do you think? What color car do we want? I just want them to be like, yellow.
Yes.
And even if they're like later, like, maybe orange.
Yes.
That's fine. But like, you dictate so much of the energy of the set just through your like response to people. So I'm just happy to hear that like you brought that AD brain, and I think that's a good way to learn. And that's one thing that I've also seen you guys do is like, okay, yeah, they're doing it right. Like, you guys know, because we do things so small, you get to see every part of the process. So you have more respect for it.
Yes.
And then you can also then make schedules that help everybody do the best they can.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge value to also doing this with a partner, because they're going to be real with you in a way that no one else will. So Michael and I had.
That one always trips me up. Had.
Michael and I have had a ton of conversations about like what he could do better and like what I can do better. And I feel like he's always pushing like, Brittany, people are just looking for someone to know what's going on.
100%.
He's like, make it up.
Yes. Seriously, he's right. He's right.
And and yet that's proved over and over again.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't have to be right. You don't. And that's not what like most people don't want you to be right necessarily. Obviously that's a good thing if you are, and it takes time, but they just want an answer so they can go back and do their job.
Yes.
And it's like, even at the level we're at, I think it's just so important to like be a good communicator.
Yes.
And if you know the stuff and you even know the lines, I mean, you're going to make a lot of good friends with actors if you know the script as well as they do.
I mean, I want that to happen. Does it happen every single time? No, but that's always my goal, is to at least, especially it's just an efficiency thing of like, now I don't have to look at the script to be like, go back to that line and we'll start from there. Like, I want to know the line, but
Yeah. Well, I think you also said something that was really great, which was just like, you're trying to like know the stuff that the actors know, because like they're memorizing the scene, they're memorizing the lines, you know, and it's like sometimes a director, if they don't do the work, it's kind of apparent. It's pretty, and like you can get steamrolled by actors. Like seriously, like if actors come to you, I've seen it happen, and that you don't have answers for them as a director, they'll just do whatever they want. And they need direction.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of goes hand in hand of like, so like, no, you want to be the person that knows the most, and I think you also want to be the person that cares the most. And I think that can be like a sign of weakness and can really take you down if people are realizing that the director's not caring the most. And especially like maybe with actors too, is like if they're caring more about their choices than that the director is, you're going to get a lot of, kind of chaos, I think. And especially with like crew members too, it's like once a director starts checking out, everything's lost. You're going down.
I forget who said it. There's a director I worked with that he or she was like, I won't make the actors do anything I wouldn't do. And so much so that sometimes I'll work with directors, and if someone has to do something kind of goofy, they'll do it. They'll be like, I'm kind of thinking like, and act it out physically. And some of the crew might be like, oh, he looks like an idiot, but like what he or she is doing is freeing the actor from the sense of, I don't want to call it shame, but everyone watching you, the pressure of being under the limelight. And I love this sentiment that you have, is like, you have to be the person that cares the most.
Yes. That's
wonderful. And that probably made your actors feel so safe and seen and heard and also empowered. That's great. What was your guys' schedule like? And where did you film? Like when I watch films, I'm like, oh, I know where this is. And there's a bunch of places I'm like, I have no idea where this is.
Yeah.
Even like the main theater.
Yeah.
Where is that?
That's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa,
okay.
At Ideal Bar and Theater, or Ideal Theater and Bar. I never know which one it is. But this is like a big point of pride for me that I didn't know would come out of this, is like where we filmed. We filmed primarily in Cedar Rapids, which just happens to be kind of where we're all located, essentially. We really did have to rely on the community, not just for like crowdfunding, but like also resources in locations. And, when you travel outside of your surroundings, that costs money. So it's really like going to the people around us and seeing where we could get locations. So this is primarily filmed in Cedar Rapids. All of the drone shots that you see are Cedar Rapids. The Ideal Bar and Theater. We filmed like the soap opera stuff at Mediaverse Studios, which, we've talked about. They're our crew, located out of Marengo. Michael and I, we actually live in a tiny town outside of Cedar Rapids in Newhall. So some of our locations were there. Like the wedding scene was like at the VA.
Oh, cool.
We filmed, I have a 9-to-5 at a bakery, Shelly Sweets, shout out. She let us film in that location. There's actually like an abandoned, not abandoned, they closed down during COVID, bank in Newhall that like served as our office location for like Vanessa and also Carly. We did her office scene there. That was like provided through a connection. And then also, Kevin wrote in hotel scenes. This terrified me because, like, how are we going to get a hotel on this budget? And also, I'm just a huge, like, don't rock the boat kind of people pleaser. I'm like, how are we actually going to film such an intense scene? There's like yelling in a hotel where like people are staying, and like, how do we get around that? And like, man, this just frightened me. And this, 5683 it's like luck and timing, and like that movie will never be made again, because like everything that movie is because of like what happened then and there and who we knew in like that time in life. So with the hotel stuff, it's like Michael's best friend works at a hotel in Keokuk, Iowa, which is where Michael and I grew up. And he could get us like a sick discount, so we could like put people up, and then like, the guy works there. So it was kind of, and we were filming in like March, so off season in general for like people traveling.
Yeah.
And so the manager of the hotel was so kind and was like, yeah, we'll put you like in this wing, and we'll try to like not get people above or below you. And this is for no budget. Like they're doing it out of like the kindness of their heart. I mean, we're paying the discounted rate for the rooms or whatever, but holy moly, we're so lucky. Yeah. So lucky. So, a little bit in Keokuk, Iowa, Marengo, Cedar Rapids, Newhall, just kind of, our people, our town.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love this idea of like telling stories in your backyard. I've been a huge proponent of it. We got to make a film a couple years ago where every location was like within a 6-block walk of my house. And it felt so cool because I'd like ridden it by walking around the neighborhood. Okay. And like seeing these locations. Yeah. But that's also like a testament to Iowa and the Midwest, where you can just get like, I don't know, can turn a penny into a dollar sort of with somebody's help and community.
Someone came out of the screening of 5683 at Criff last year, and they're like, this film was so Iowa. And I was like, well, never did I think like we're making an Iowa film. We're making an Iowa made film. Yeah. But like we're making an Iowa film, and never thought about it like that. But then it's like, yeah, we're seeing this stuff, and even kind of like the way the wedding scene is. It's like, yeah, this girl got married at a VA hall. Like I think you can see like the Palmia flag in the background. So it's like, I guess I do kind of understand that, and that is something that's cool that's came out of the film in general, and a point of pride for me, like I mentioned, is like, yeah, this is an Iowa film.
Yeah, no, you should be proud of that, and I think it's a testament to like all the work you guys have been doing too, like as a crew, and then this idea of like making a film in your backyard. Like I said, it's just like so fun, and it's like also just nice to be near home too, and like go home and sleep in your own bed and make a film. Yes, because like I don't know, I think only one of the 5 features I've shot I've been at home for. Right. And it's a lot.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, us getting to go home and sleep in our beds is like huge.
How many days of production did you have?
Yeah, so we shot over weekends, like 4-day weekends. Okay. So I think in total of like principal or like the main stuff, I think we had 15 days. So it was like we started in March and ended in April. And then as we kind of went into editing, and I was kind of like cooking on this, like thinking about the soap opera Deep in Carsville that you see throughout the film. In the original script, that's actually just written into the first scene. And I just was really like sitting on this, and we're looking at like the rough cut, and I'm like, I don't know. I think we can do something more with Deep in Carsville. I think it could be like a transitional piece, like keep it interesting. So then we came back in August. So like months later, we came back and filmed all the Deep in Carsville stuff, which is why you never actually see Deep in Carsville on the screens in the scenes. Like it just didn't exist yet. But 15 to 16 days of production, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a pretty healthy schedule, and that mirrors most of the features I've done. I think one of them was 16, another one was 14, and then there's like 21 and then 28, which was 28 felt. 28. That was Death of a Brewer.
Oh, how do you know how long that's going to be? Or
They're trying to get it to 2 hours, I believe.
okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that tracks. But then you're doing like a period piece, and you're in the middle of Iowa City and all these places, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a lot.
It was a lot, but it was fun. And honestly, I think, probably in the middle ground of 16 and 28 is where most indies like that we're going to do in the next couple of years will be, is like right around that 18, 21 day
Yeah.
range. So yeah, I was curious about that because I had a feeling it was probably like no more than 18 days was
Yeah.
the feeling I was getting.
Well, and that was kind of a big, the amount of days really like guided everything. Because, we only had this certain budget. And so I think the original script, which is much different than the script we shot, the original script like had us out to like 20 days. So then it for me, like going into like how this all broke down, it really was, okay, we can afford 15 days.
Yeah.
So like this is where I'm chunking everything together. We have to lose these scenes or stuff like that. So the amount of days, it wasn't just like, here's the script, this is how many days it is. It's like, we can only afford this many days. So we're changing the script, we're cutting characters, or we're combining, and all of that stuff.
I'm glad that we talked about that because that's a really interesting point for indie filmmaking is like, yeah, sometimes you have to tailor the content to what you have, not the other way around. And it's tough because like, I think it's the writer that usually catches the brunt of it, right? Because you're like either writing for what you have, which can be really limiting.
Yes.
Because you might have this idea and you're like, I really want this character to turn into a mushroom.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I'm not going to write it because I don't think we can do that. Yeah. And it's like, no, you probably can, but like, and more importantly, like sometimes you have to be like, this isn't the project. This guy's not turning into a mushroom.
Right.
Like we just can't do that.
Yeah.
It's going to like take 10% of our budget or whatever it is and it just not be worth it. And I think that's really a lot of these things that we've been talking about. Like are making me even happier I had you on the podcast because not that I'm not already, but like you have this really interesting perspective that I think people need to hear, which is like, you're not being precious about this stuff. Like you're saying, do we want to make the film? Then we need to cut this stuff or we're not going to be able to make the film.
Yes.
And that's hard for people.
Yes.
I'm sure it was hard for you.
Well, I think that's one of the things I like learned the most, and one of the best parts about it is I did not write this script. So I think there's like such value in that in terms of like 5683 is like, because after 5683, I kind of went on to make something that I did have a big hand in writing, and like I kind of see where that was a flaw, because like I wasn't letting go of things that needed to be let go of, and it's like on 5683, I could kind of be that go-between of like, well, Kevin, I'm really on board with the vision that's here, but also like, this is the budget, and I think we can like make this work otherwise. And Kevin, I've said this a million times, best collaborator like on this universe. He's like, okay, like I trust you. Like we'll do it. We'll go back to like the drawing board and make it work. And he really kind of like it was gonna be this way where he had this baby, we adopted it, and we're raising the baby, the three of us, me, Michael, and Kevin. And it never was like, well, this is my baby and you're just the adopted parent. Like we really were like raising this thing together, and thankfully Kevin could let some of that go. And because of that, then I could look at things in that perspective of like, okay, well, we'll keep this for the sake of our baby, but also like this is gonna be better for our baby. Like this is the budget we have for our child. So I just think that was like a huge, valuable or important part of it is that I did not write this. Yeah. But I also acted as if I did. Like this really is my thing. Like when I look up there and I see like this is a Brittany Benedict film, which it's not. Like it's literally everybody that touched it. But I'm like, yeah, I do. Like I take ownership over that too, because there are some times when people ask you to direct something they've written, and really they just want you to be like a project manager.
Yes.
Like, well, hold on, I want you to like make what I wrote. And in this case, it's like, Brittany, I want you to direct this. Like, I want your vision on this thing. And like, so grateful that Kevin is a collaborator like that. And kind of that we got to approach the process in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sing his praises again. Shout out Kevin Shepard, because that's hard to do. It's hard to give up that control of the text, and I've seen it happen for sure. I think there are good writer-directors out there.
100%.
But I think there's also something really fascinating about giving someone the vision and letting them then put their own stamp on it. And that's one thing I love about filmmaking, is how many iterations of the story there are, and how many, like, it's like, it's a script. That's not a film. That's the script. Turning it into a film sometimes does take the Brittany Benedicts of the world being like, we don't need this scene.
Right.
And to have someone like Kevin be like, I support you.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I'm going to let you do that. Frees you from any like pressure.
Yes. He's so great in that way. And I think just that in general is so important to comedy as well. Is like the person who wrote it isn't driving the whole entire comedy of the film. It's like, I cannot, and that's like a huge lesson I learned on this, is like comedy comes in so many different forms and like makes up the whole thing. It's like, it's the jokes that Kevin wrote. It's the improv that the actors are doing, not just the dialogue, like the actions.
Yes.
It's like some of the ideas I'm bringing. It's, oh my gosh, it's like some of the things that I'm like, Michael, this isn't working. He did it in the edit. Like, it's the edit. And then, like...
Which is another iteration of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, like, the cherry on top, which I don't get to talk about him enough, our composer, Brian Bryson, added, like, a whole nother level. It's the music. It's the
it's
score.
so awesome to hear the score.
Yes.
It, like, it's like the finals. For me, it's color correction and the score. When those two things happen, you're like... It's a movie.
Yes, you're like, I was a little worried.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of what a huge thing I took away on this is like, everybody that touched this film, this is their film. Like, I did not do this. Like, everybody that was a part of it did that. And also another point of pride, when I look at 5683, I love that it's not mine. Like, I love that, like, literally I can look at that and be like, Michael edited that part, and that's why it's funny, people. Or like, and no one will ever know what the actors brought as improv or what was written. But it's like,
they don't need to.
I know, but it's like I can look at that and be like, man, Rachel, freaking her doing that. That was her, and I don't know. It's just, that's like one of the beautiful takeaways of filmmaking in general, is like these things. That you get to, you're in it to like make a film, but then you get to like take away like the beauty of collaboration, I guess.
Yeah, and I think kudos to you for being open to that, because like, and knowing that being rigid, especially when it comes to comedy, it's hard to know that, like, oh, don't be rigid, like, until you do it. But it sounds like you had a good perspective already, where you're like, no, I'm gonna let people like have fun with this, because the worst thing sometimes for any kind of scene is like, no, say the line like this,
Right.
like the line is this. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes actors, you have to empower them to like make decisions too, and give them ownership. It can't just be puppetry.
Yes.
And it sounds like throughout the whole process from start to finish, the whole 5683 crew was one of like, hey, we're all here to support each other, but we're going to like give each other the freedom to flourish and be creative.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of film, for sure.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
100%.
How involved were you in post-production?
The way that Michael and I work is, I would say that I'm pretty involved in post-production, but like, I like to let Michael cook. I want to see, the rough cut first. Like, I'm not going in like, okay, I know I want take 5, blah, blah, blah. Because number one, I didn't even take those notes. But as I get further in filmmaking, those notes are so helpful. So I do want to get better at on-set, like, note-taking. But I like to kind of see what Michael's putting together first, and then coming in and having opinions about, like, the performances that I'm seeing, or even, like, the way it's coming across. But then Michael is very, at least with me, we've been partners for a long time, so we know how to work together. He's also very welcoming to that. Sometimes he's like, get in here. I need a second opinion. So I feel very comfortable being in there and kind of getting to have an opinion. But I think, if you're directing and it was truly your vision throughout, I don't know how you can't be in the editing room. I think that's a huge part of it.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, and especially I was super involved with the score because it's the first time working with Brian Bryson, and I cannot sing his praises enough. Everyone reach out to Brian Bryson. He is literally right up there with Kevin Shepard, one of the best collaborators on this earth. And we kind of didn't know what 5683 needed as the score. And that's not super helpful to him. It's we could have come with okay, we want it to be like this movie and this movie and this movie. And here's a playlist. I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
I was like,
score's tough.
Yes. I was like, I don't, it needs something
And that's
yes.
exactly what I say. I'm like, it needs something. Yes. I don't know what it is.
And even I think Brian maybe felt the weight of, okay, this is a feature film. They worked really hard on it. I want to be there for you guys. And I was like, but I don't have anything for you to reference. And he just did so awesome with kind of coming up with his framework of thinking about this. And he's like, okay, I'm going to think about this. These girls had a girl band back in college. And
that's
when
amazing. I love the backstories
yes,
people create.
Yes. And oh, that is my favorite part, especially with actors. I'm like, yes, tell me about their backstory.
Yeah.
And he's like, and when we see them together, that's the girl band coming back together, and this is Layla's theme and whatever thing. I'm like, yes. He got it, and he was, but also throughout the process, he was kind of unsure. He's like, am I doing it? I've never written girl band stuff. And I'm like, you're killing it. Anyway, we had a lot of back and forth, and I was so meticulous with him just because it's the final, it's the last stop to this thing being done. And he took it in stride. He never was like, okay, you've reached the amount of edits I'll do. He was like, I just want to nail this for you. And I'm like, you are, and we're getting there. And that, wow. That was a part, we haven't really ever been able to afford original score or a composer. And so that was kind of a new part of the process for me that I really, really loved. Yeah. And he killed it. I love that guy.
The composer, I added him on Instagram right when Michael, he made a post, and I was like, okay, cool, I gotta stay connected, because it's hard to find good composers, and when you do, it's
I just can't. I can't. He's literally so talented and so great to work with, and when do you ever get that combination?
It's so, I mean what I said earlier. Score to me is so hard. I can't articulate ever what I want because I'm not a musician. I don't know if you have any musical background.
No, that is exactly how I felt on this.
It's like a different language almost, and I've never been good at it. I think a lot of times the best thing I can do is point to something that I like, hey, this works in this movie. And then they probably take a deep breath and they're like, okay, I'm on my own here.
Yes. Well, and see, we didn't even do that for him, where we're like, this movie is where it works. And I didn't even mention, this whole film was on a deadline, weirdly, just because of timing. And we put him on a deadline. He composed this whole thing in less than 2 months.
Wow.
We were trying to enter it into a certain film festival or something. And so we did a very early version, and he freaking worked to the bone, getting this thing done in less than 2 months and being super attentive to us, and really just like everyone else on this film, doing it on barely any, compensation.
Yeah, and going back to kind of how you guys did this film too, in that sort of 4-month intensive, I think there's something to be said about the sort of quote unquote pressure cooker situation where you're I have deadlines. It really does help people finish things, even though you can feel the pressure. Pressure is good. Pressure is a privilege, I think, and to feel that pressure, and sometimes I just think it makes it better.
Yes,
because it's there's an end in sight, and sometimes if you don't have an end, it's where is the end?
Yes, and you're getting it done, and you're moving on, and we've made projects since then, and learned from those too, and so it's just a huge part of your growth is getting these things done.
Yeah, and then moving on to the next one. Yeah. After this process, what advice would you give to a first-time indie director? How can people be successful at this sort of level? How do they do it?
It feels like, how dare I answer this question? Because, like, I know I made a movie, but I also feel like I'm looking to other people to get that answer, you know?
Sure.
But what advice would I give? I think a huge part of this, and I think filmmakers have said it on your podcast before, is surrounding yourself with people. And not just like people who can help you make your film, but professionals who are in it as much as you are. Like, not just people you're pulling in, you know, not just your friend, not just your family member. Like, those are great resources when you're starting out. So definitely do that. But when you can, pull in people who are also interested in have the same goals as you. And not only like surrounding yourself with them, also obviously trusting them. But also, I think a huge piece of advice that made 5683 work for me is that I was surrounded by people that lifted me up. Like, people that believed in me. Because I've been on sets where I felt questioned or doubted, and it doesn't work. And on 5683, it felt like the first time where everyone was like, Brittany, you can do this.
Yeah.
And I believe in you and I trust you. So it's not just trusting them, but being surrounded by people that trust you. And that is a huge, huge confidence booster and something that will push you through into directing and ultimately being a better leader.
I'm glad you talked about the other side of it. I'm glad you talked about having people that believe in you too. Because I feel that way in the position that I am most often in as a DP. If I'm having people second guess the decisions I'm making, or, it does get in your head, and it's not like you're wanting blind loyalty.
Right.
Because sometimes you need those people to be like, are you sure about this?
Yes.
But there's a balance there.
Yes.
That is really important, that I
Yes.
think, it sounds like you had that good balance where someone could be like, hey, should we do that again?
Right.
And you're like, this person's never said this to me before. I think we should do it again.
Yes.
for reasons I will find out,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's trust, and,
Yes.
but it goes both ways, because sometimes someone comes to you with a note and you're like, let's keep going the direction we're going, and maybe we'll try to take after like that. But it's just like, filmmaking is so much for me, doing this podcast, about balance, about finding a balance of so many different things, that you're just trying to stay even as much as you can and keep everybody focused on the task at hand. So definitely a tall task sometimes, but
Yes.
it sounds like you had it for 5683, and I think it reflects in the product,
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So kind of wrapping up a little bit of our conversation, have you had a chance to kind of look back and reflect on this experience, or is it, still something that you're still learning things about? And if you've had that time, what are some of the reflections you've had? Like, what have you walked away thinking about 5683?
Yeah. It's kind of like the different stages of this have happened like by the year. So like year 1, 2024, we made it. Year 2, 2025, we showed it. And then like now this year it's like public. So there's been like long periods of time where it's been in different stages. And to be at the end, like we're done now. And so I have gotten a lot of time recently to reflect on it, because previous to it being public, it was, and we knew it was going to get like kind of distributed and stuff. So, you kind of, put it on the back burner and you work on other things. And it really is like a thing of the past. It was 2 years ago, which is so wild. But yeah, now that we get to say like it's on Amazon Prime and, I held the DVD in my hand, I'm like, whoa, I think there's like at points you kind of take it for granted that you did this really big thing. And so I do think like being at the finish line and like it's so cheesy, but like literally holding the DVD in my hand, I'm like, whoa, we did it. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. Cause I'm like, oh, I've held a DVD that we've made in our hand, like that we burned on our computer downstairs. But no, this is so different. And it just, I don't know, it has felt monumental in different ways for the different stages of the process. And so I'm just feeling like a new wave of appreciation for the film because, you know, when you make a film, it's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. We went on like a journey and we're stronger like because of it. But it's like, you know, sometimes you're like in the phase of like, man, this is hard, this is tough, like I don't want to do this again, or like, can I even do this again? Like, why did I get to direct this thing? That's crazy. Who put me in that spot? So it's this constant roller coaster of like up and down, and it's just great to be at the end of it and feel like we're ending on an up. And having different people get to see this thing. I've talked a lot about to like Michael and just others. Like, I feel like I'm talking so much about the experience of making this thing that I need to tell people to watch it because like it's a good watch. I feel like you need to watch it because you supported a filmmaker's dream and, you know, all these people got to work and that's why you should watch it. But I'm like, wait. I'd actually just need to be like, you should watch it because it's fun. And I just kind of, I think have like oversaturated saying like how, monumental this film was to me. But it's very cool to have something life-changing and positive like happen to you. And then for it to also just be like a cool film that you can share with people. I think it would be a whole different thing if it was like, yeah, this film's not everyone's cup of tea. And maybe it's not. But there's something about like also at the end of it having a product that like, yeah, I do think it's fun for people to watch. And we were getting our tie rod ends changed the other day. And the guy was like, someone told me you're the director of that movie. My girlfriend and I watched that movie. And I'm like, the guy at the car place watched our movie? This has been so, like, just mind-blowing. This part of it, I will tell you, this part of it is of people actually watching the thing. Because that's not why we made it, right? Like, we made it because we like filmmaking. So this part of it, of, like, the consumption of the product has just been, like, so new and wild and just filling my cup, and I'm so grateful, and I feel proud for the people who made it because it's like, look, guys, like it was worth something. And I'm at this stage, I'm feeling so like grateful and so much positivity and happiness, and which I'm so grateful to again end on an up after kind of so many ups and downs of the past 2 years of getting this thing done. So I don't know, I'm just so grateful, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Bruce James Bales. That was Brittany Benedict, and that's a take.